Zen Academy and One Zen Wellness, which is our personal training and therapy hub. I'm just going to take you through some breathing. I'm going to take you through one round of Wim Hof breathing, which is in essence hyperventilating and then breath holds. So I am sitting in my car because I've just dropped off my son. And I find that this is actually quite quiet and fairly peaceful. Whereas if I went to my house, there's all sorts of stuff and noises going on at my house. So if you are out and about in Milton Keynes where I live and you see some random guys sitting in the corner of a car park, in essence hyperventilating, I'm okay, don't worry about me. So the reason for the Wim Hof breath work is it stimulates your sympathetic nervous system, which in essence people will recognize as your freeze, fight or flight response, which sounds bad. But in essence, I want to be more sympathetic during the morning and early afternoon. And as the day goes on, I want to then be more parasympathetic. So this stimulates that. Also allows you to tolerate higher amounts of, there's two things, higher amounts of carbon dioxide, which sounds really counterintuitive, but it's actually quite a good thing. So a lot of people think in order to get more oxygen into your tissues, of the body, that you need more oxygen, but actually you need to access more oxygen, and the only way to access more oxygen is by having higher amounts of carbon dioxide, and both of them work synergistically with each other. So if I have slightly more carbon dioxide, I actually access more oxygen because it's like a needs must scenario. Whereas if I actually had an oxygen mask on and I take huge amounts of oxygen in, although I have more oxygen in my blood, my tissues can't access that because you need carbon dioxide to release the oxygen. So that's me summarizing that physiology up fairly rapidly. Secondary to that is with the breath hold, I actually start compressing things like my spleen, which again sound really bad, but really good. And what happens is my spleen actually releases or produces and releases more red blood cells. And this accumulates. So the more you do this on a daily basis, the more access to the high amounts of red blood cells you've got, and red blood cells obviously then carry more oxygen. So you just get more access to things that are already within you. So that's why I do the Wim Hof breathing. Again, from that you actually breathe less throughout the day because you can tolerate more carbon dioxide and you need less air going in your lungs. And a lot of people these days are what we call mouth breathers. So they breathe, through their mouth on a consistent basis, which isn't necessarily a good thing, because constantly breathing through your mouth can lead in the long term all sorts of cardiorespiratory issues. Also increases your stress response throughout the day. So you become more irritable, more snappy. Also can increase things like blood pressure and kind of have an accumulative effect down that way. So the idea is that for the rest of the day I'll be nasal breathing. That's the idea anyway, and it does work. There's a lot of studies that now are supporting this, and there's more that's coming out every day. So this is the only time when I do breath work that I'll actually breathe through my mouth. Yes, I'll show you one round of the Wim Hof breath work. The idea is that you do 3 or 4 every morning. Okay, you would then do a cold shower, but I tend to separate the two. I actually do my cold shower in the evening just because it's practical. Okay, are you ready? So Wim Hof breath. So it's going to be 30 basically hyperventilative breaths, and then I'm going to exhale fully, hold my breath for as long as I can. For the purposes of this, I won't hold it for an extreme amount of time, otherwise I'd be really bored. And then an inhale and then hold, and then that's one round. Okay, and the idea is do 3 or 4. Okay, now I do count on my fingers purely because I lose count all the time. So I'm going to take you through that. So you'll see my belly go in and out. Okay, you ready? You're watching? Okay, check it out. and that would be 1 round. So the idea is on the exhale, you're trying to hold that breath longer and longer each time. On the inhale, around 10 to 15 seconds is plenty. You can have a recovery breath and then you can go again. So give it a go. You'll feel pretty supercharged afterwards. So it's actually quite useful, I find, just for a run or just for like a weights workout. Give it a go as part of your warm-up if that's how you want to use it. Any thoughts or questions, please feel free to contact me. I really appreciate any feedback. Yeah, check it out.